and welcome back to the channel. So we are officially through the midpoint of AHSOKA series. Episode 5 is now behind us, and I have to say that I truly enjoyed it. Not just enjoyed it, I loved it. So while regular people are watching the plot, people like you and me see even more. And what we see is, oh, this should be a new figure, and that should be a new figure, and I want this, and I want that in a figure form, right? Well, seeing it in that spirit, I would say that episode 5 gives us the most material. It has the most potential so far in this show. And so what I would like to do here in this video is go with you guys through the episode and talk a little bit and speculate about what are all the figures that we could get from this AHSOKA show so far, but especially after seeing the episode 5. And so, of course, I have to warn you guys who maybe didn't see the episode 5 of AHSOKA that this is a spoiler warning for you. If you haven't watched it, go and watch the episode and then come back and watch this video. So, let's get started. Of course, we are talking here about the new figures that are still not announced, and we don't even know if we'll get them, but most of them I'm sure that we will. And of course, I'm talking about the figures other than the ones that we already have announced and that already went up for pre-order from this AHSOKA show. So let's dive in. Of course, the main two figures that a lot of us want in the Black Series line, but I'm sure same goes here for the Vintage Collection, of course, and other Star Wars figure lines, are Baylan and Shin. And as always, we saw on Yakface's Instagram account that he cracked the code and practically revealed that on the side art of the box we can see a shoulder armor from Baylan. I mean, we'll get those two characters in the Black Series and in the TVC for sure, and I mean, a lot of us want that to happen. A lot of us can't wait to see those two characters in the figure form. How will they look? Will they come with their Jedi robes, the cape and the hood? Or not. I'm preferring those soft goods being included in the set. That would be amazing. We need those capes on those figures. That would give us more posing options for our display. But other than those two, I'm sure we're gonna get Carson Teva. If they didn't make him for the Mandalorian box, I'm sure that they will pack him in the AHSOKA box. Now, will it be a new X-Wing pilot body, or will they reuse that old Luke Skywalker X-Wing body from the first wave? I'm hoping for a resculpt of that body, because Carson should be, you know, a slightly bigger. Of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Hayden Christensen, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin Skywalker. Now, Justin from Out of the Basement has a theory that I assume by now is well known to a lot of you guys who are followers of their channel as well. Justin has the theory that because the Black Series line of action figures should represent the ultimate version of the character from the specific scene of the specific show or movie, and because of that, Hasbro doesn't want to update those characters in a way where they will give us the same character from the same movie and from the same scene, but as a retooled and updated version. They don't want to do that because of the reason that this line of action figures should be the definitive version. And that is why to this day we don't have a great Episode 3 Anakin in the Black Series line. We have that awful looking version of Episode 3 Anakin that was released way back when the line was starting, and they updated it with that face printing technique, but the figure still looks awful. And we were speculating about if we'll get to see the new retooled Episode 3 Anakin, because that new head sculpt that they made for the Force Ghost from the Episode 6 that was released in that 3-pack with Yoda and Obi-Wan. And so now all of these issues with it being the definitive version are finally resolved, because the same Anakin from Episode 3 in that same outfit is now here in the AHSOKA show. And so what Hasbro will do, And I'm 100% sure that they will do it, of course. I'm sure that you guys think the same way. And that is that Hasbro will completely retool that Anakin. They have to do that. They can't just use the same old figure and put it in the Ahsoka box. I mean, it can happen. That would be just awful. We've seen things like this, but I hope that they won't do that. I'm sure that this is the opportunity that they were waiting for, and of course that they are collaborating with Lucasfilm. So now this is a perfect opportunity for them to give us the retooled Episode 3 Anakin with a new face sculpt, new body, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they make it as a deluxe set. Because what they can do is put in that packaging 2 or 3 head sculpts where we can get Anakin's calm face and then maybe his angry face and then another head sculpt with his Sith eyes or something like that. And just for those accessories, I'm sure that Hasbro can sell it to us as a deluxe set. I'm not agreeing with that because, as we know, the original came with 2 head sculpts, but we are living in times that are not similar to when the original was released. I mean, we saw the similar case recently with that Andor Trooper, right? So if we are to get few different head sculpts for Anakin, I'm kind of sure that Hasbro will make it a deluxe set. But whatever the case may be, I would really like to see a retooled, remade Revenge of the Sith Anakin in the Black Series line. And I'm someone who for years wanted the SH Figure Arts Episode 3 version of Anakin. That was my holy grail. If you are a follower of the channel, I'm sure you know that. That was my holy grail. And recently I was able to get that figure, but still, if Hasbro would give us, well, not if, when Hasbro gives us this new retooled Anakin, I would say that I would buy it, even though I have the SH Figure Arts version. If the head sculpt is good, I would probably get it. But yeah, that is the elephant in the room. I'm sure that a lot of us collectors, as soon as we saw Anakin in Ahsoka, probably one of the first things that came to our mind was, yes, we will get the updated version of this Anakin. And that is amazing. Next thing that we could get in the Black Series line and even in the TVC line would be, I would say, a two-pack release of Jacen Syndulla and Chopper. What do you think about that? Now, I know that Hasbro just re-released Chopper from Rebels, but what would stop Hasbro on giving us another Chopper in a two-pack? Especially with Jacen, because both of them would be smaller figures. I mean, I can see it happen. Maybe put some more accessories in that pack. Tell me what you think. And the next cause of speculation for the Black Series or TVC figures is inspired by that whole sequence of Ahsoka's vision or flashback or whatever you want to call it. And so first we get the young Clone Wars Ahsoka from the Ryloth War. Now this is practically a version of Ahsoka that is just coming out in the Black Series, but it's in the Clone Wars box. And for Ahsoka show, Hasbro could actually give us the live action version of this young Ahsoka. I would be down for that if they were to make this young Ahsoka but as a live action version and put it in the Ahsoka box. And of course, while I was watching that scene and seeing all of these Phase 1 clones running by her, it was like, here is a figure and here is a figure and we get a clean one. I mean, this is the opportunity for Hasbro to update the Phase 1 clone as well, like they did with the Phase 2. I mean, it's practically the same figure but with a different helmet. So I'm sure Hasbro won't miss that opportunity. Not just the clean armor Phase 1 clone trooper, but also the Phase 1 501st clone trooper, because we have those figures but they are so old. They are on the old type of body that has such a dated articulation that now from this one scene it justifies Hasbro if they are to give us all of these clones on the updated body, right? And then we see a Clone Wars version of Anakin, and that is of course the figure that we already have in the Black Series line, but again, it is the Clone Wars version. Here, Hasbro has another opportunity to give us another version of Anakin, but this time from this Ahsoka show, and it could have the updated Hayden Christensen's head, because honestly for me the head sculpt on that Clone Wars Anakin doesn't work that well. I mean, maybe from the side when you look at him he kind of looks like Hayden, but I would say that Hasbro still needs to do an update on that figure. They could update the joints, they could update the articulation for that Anakin, and make a retooled head sculpt for him and give us another Clone Wars version of Anakin, but in an Ahsoka box. And then a next huge thing here in this episode 5 was the first live action appearance. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first live action appearance, right? Of Captain Rex. We see him in this one episode in his Phase 1 armor, and then in Phase 2 armor in that Siege of Mandalore scene, and this is the opportunity that a lot of Black Series collectors were waiting for. Because we all remember the case when Hasbro wanted to re-release that Phase 2 Clone Wars Captain Rex, and how the whole thing fell apart. Maybe it fell apart because Hasbro knew that we'll get Rex in this show. Maybe, you never know. But now when we see him here in live action, Phase 1 and Phase 2, man, would it be amazing if Hasbro would give us that Phase 1 Rex and then re-release. I mean, even if they don't update the Phase 2 Rex, if they just re-release the same figure, if they just repack that Rex in an Ahsoka box, I'm sure a lot of us would be really happy. So yeah, it was such a pleasure to see Rex in this show and to hear the voice of Tamira Morrison. It was just beautiful. And then next, I already mentioned it, we get to see a flashback of the Siege of Mandalore from the Clone Wars Season 7. And here we get to see again a little bit older Ahsoka in her Season 7 outfit. And again, even though we have that figure from that Season 7, I would still be down for Hasbro to give us a live action version of Ahsoka with a new head sculpt and maybe a retooled body, because that Clone Wars and even Rebels Ahsoka has some issues, not just with height, but with articulation and joints as well. It's a bit flimsy. It wasn't so enjoyable for me to pose those two Ahsokas. They could make a retooled, resculpted version and yeah, release it as a live action version. And then again, from the same flashback scene, we have that Darth Maul Mandalorians with horns on the helmet. And again, Hasbro already released that figure, but it was on that old Jango Fett body. It kind of didn't look good to me. But now, when this same version of Mando is in this Ahsoka scene, maybe, just maybe, Hasbro could use that Death Watch new Mando body and just stick that older head on this new body. I would be completely satisfied with that. What do you guys think? Do you think that we will get another version of Moldalorian? I hope that will be the case. For a brief moment here we see those Ahsoka clone troopers, and we already have those released in the Black Series line, but maybe Hasbro will make a repack and release again those Ahsoka troopers in this Ahsoka line of Black Series action figures, because those troopers, if I'm not mistaken, are really expensive on the secondary market, and a lot of people want to army build those. I mean, there are custom bootlegs on AliExpress of that figure. That is also a way to go, but I'm sure a lot of people would like to have more of these Ahsoka troopers, but the original ones. So that would be cool if Hasbro would re-release these Ahsoka troopers. And then a final figure that Hasbro could release for now is, of course, Ahsoka in her white uniform. These are her Gandalf the White robes, and this is something that we wanted ever since we saw her in that Rebels finale. And now we are getting kind of that version in this live action show. And yeah, I mean, the outfit looks amazing. She looks beautiful in that white uniform, and I'm 100% positive that we will get it. It's just a matter of time. And yeah, those are practically all of my speculations for these first 5 episodes of the Ahsoka show, and specifically going heavy on this episode 5. Now, you may say that that would be a lot of Ahsokas, and yeah, you'd be right, and I agree with you. But just remember what Hasbro did when Kenobi series were being released. They gave us so many versions of Kenobi that it was just overwhelming. I'm sure that they will do the same for Ahsoka show because she is fan favorite character for the most part. So yeah, that's practically all I wanted to share with you guys, some of my thoughts, because while I'm extremely enjoying this show, at the same time I'm looking at it and thinking like, I want this as a figure, and I want this version as a figure, I want this character and this character, and it's like, yeah, Hasbro, go do your thing, and yeah, that's the video. Those are some of my thoughts. Now, I would really like to hear you guys. What do you think about all of these speculations? Are you also someone who is watching this show and thinking about the figures? Out of all of these that I said, which are the ones that you would really like to see in the Black Series line or in the Vintage Collection line? Let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about it. And I'm sure we'll have many more ideas when the show continues next week, and then next week, and then for the season finale, and you know, whatever is in front of us. So, and yeah, it's an amazing time for be a Star Wars fan and to be a Black Series collector. I mean, I'm really enjoying the show. I'm enjoying collecting this action figure line, and it's fun. It's really fun to be here, to be part of this community, and to enjoy in all of this together. So yeah, share your thoughts down in the comments. Let's talk about all of these speculations, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see ya in the next video.